What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dissect That Film, where we dissect your favorite films, film franchises, and TV. Today at episode 65 of the podcast, we are sitting down to talk about the 5th installment in the Terminator franchise. You see my eyes widen really wide? Like, oh my God.
So many.
I'm just ready for it.
The 2015 Terminator Genisys, or as most people call it, Terminator Genisys. I am your host, Brett Parker. Joining me as always, the wonderful Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming.
Hello.
Hello. Don't worry, I brought my cream for my Genisys.
Terminator Genisys. Yes, I'm going to keep the joke going, ladies and gentlemen, so strap in, because it's not the last time I'm ever going to say it. This movie is usually when you talk about the Terminator franchise, this is the one that most people just don't like.
Yeah, it seems that way.
There's a lot of people who defended Terminator 3 when we released that episode, you know, defending it, saying it was good, which is fine. I've always said throughout the entirety of this show's existence, it's okay to like a movie we don't like. I like a lot of movies that Dan and Angela may not like. Dan definitely doesn't like a lot of movies, period. So
yeah, I'm just a fickle bitch.
Yes. So it's fine to like,
absolutely.
You know, that's fine that you like Terminator 3. We didn't. But when it comes to Terminator Genisys, yes, I said it correctly. You get more negatives than positives with this one. And yeah, we'll get to our thoughts in a little bit, but let's go over some of the history of this movie, some trivia, and you know, everybody behind the scenes. If I can get my fucking mouse over here. Hello? Could you cooperate? Thank you.
Nope.
All right. So this movie was directed by Alan Taylor, who only other like big movie was Thor: The Dark World.
Oh, interesting.
He did a lot of TV shows, or he has done a lot of TV shows. He directed a lot of episodes of Game of Thrones. Let me click on his name real quick. He actually, the latest movie he directed was The Many Saints of Newark, which was the Sopranos prequel movie that they did this past year, maybe it was last year, because he directed a lot of episodes of The Sopranos when it was out.
Oh, did he? Okay, so interesting.
He you know, was definitely a good choice to direct that movie. But he's directed shows, episodes of shows such as Lost, The West Wing, 6 Feet Under, Sex and the City, The Sopranos, Game of Thrones, Boardwalk Empire, Deadwood, and Mad Men. That's a lot of very good shows.
Yeah.
So he seems like he's in those like HBO, Cinemax, like mature television series director.
Yep.
Very cool. Good for him.
So, yeah, coming off of probably one of the weakest movies in the Marvel universe, to then come in and direct what some would consider the weakest of the Terminator franchise, it's one of those things where a lot of people are just like, just stick to television. That seems to be your strong suit. But, you know, I mean, clearly he's directed a lot of good stuff, and it's not always the director as well. Like, you got to look at also like the writers and the producers and maybe even the actors. But the writers of this were Lieta Kologridis. I just fucking butchered that name.
You made that shit up.
Who has written such movies as Alexander with Colin Farrell about Alexander the Great. Came out in 2004. Night Watch, Pathfinder, and Shutter Island, 2010. Also was an executive producer for some quality television shows, such as Birds of Prey, which was the weird show they tried to do with like the Joker and Harley Quinn's kid and like kids of like Batman villains. It was odd. It didn't last long. I don't even know if it went a whole season.
Probably
also
not.
Bionic Woman, which was like the attempt of, because I think there was the Bionic Man, right? Back in like the 80s, 70s, maybe?
70s, I think.
And this was like the modern take on that, but it was Bionic Woman. I think there was a Bionic Woman too back in the 70s or 80s.
I think
around the same time. Also co-wrote Alita Battle Angel and the Netflix series Altered Carbon.
Good stuff.
Which season 1 of that show is actually really good. Have not seen season 2.
Your hands.
I'm sorry. There's a show you need to watch. I don't know if you've watched. We'll talk about it afterwards.
And the other writer was Patrick Lussier, who has most of his work is TV and direct to video. He is responsible for such prize films as Dracula 2000 and its sequels. Did you know there were sequels to Dracula 2000? Dracula 2 Ascension and Dracula 3 Legacy. He also directed the sequel to White Noise, which wasn't a good movie, but it needed a sequel. White Noise 2, The Light, and My Bloody Valentine.
You just call it White Noise. You should call it White Noise.
So he's very famous for being an editor. He edited for Wes Craven's New Nightmare, the original Scream, Mighty Ducks 3, Halloween H2O, Scream 3, a couple other Red Eye and Cursed, which were 2 films in 2005 that were directed by Wes Craven, which is just wild.
I've heard Red Eye was good, by the way.
I remember seeing it back when it released, and I liked it. It has Cillian Murphy.
Yep.
And Rachel McAdams. Yeah.
I can't wait to the new.
I actually like Cursed too. Cursed is a hidden gem when it comes to Wes Craven. It had Christina Ricci and Jesse Eisenberg, whereas it was a vampire movie, or not vampire, werewolf. It was about werewolf.
Oh. I can't wait to the.
I remember seeing it because I was still quite young when these movies came out, so I couldn't go see them in theaters because I wasn't old enough to go. So I just remember renting them at like Hollywood Video when they first came out. I was like, oh, I love Wes Craven. He's probably one of my favorite directors.
You're looking for hanging out at Dad's house, huh?
Oh yeah, good times. Also, another movie I want to just note: Drive Angry. You ever heard of that? Nicolas Cage and Amber Heard.
Wow, that's a winner.
I didn't watch it, but I've heard of it.
It's terrible. But yeah, those are your writers. I mean, can kind of take it or leave it there.
Suspicious how much like the dude's like all about people in TV.
Yeah.
Like he's a TV director, he gets like TV writers, which that's who you work with. I understand.
So the cast of this movie, to be honest, I really like the cast of this movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course, is back playing the Guardian, which is what he is considered in the credits of this movie, but he's also called Pops. There's 2 people with the same exact last name in this movie. You have Jason Clarke and Emilia Clarke.
Brother and sister?
No relation. So Jason Clarke plays John Connor in this movie, and Emilia Clarke plays Sarah Connor. We have Jai Courtney, who is a couple weeks ago. We talked about Terminator Salvation, which had Sam Worthington. Jai Courtney feels like the Sam Worthington of like 2015 and on. Like he was in so many movies, and now like I feel like he's still doing things. Like so was Sam Worthington, but it's like you don't see him as often. I know he was recently in the newest Suicide Squad because he played Captain Boomerang, but spoiler alert, he doesn't last long.
Yeah.
But yeah. J.K. Simmons, I completely forgot he was in this movie.
He was good.
Yeah. Matt Smith, who was he was one of the doctors in Doctor Who. He was also I think he's in the new Game of Thrones show that's coming out. Courtney B. Vance, who plays Miles Dyson, which I did not like. I was like, where's the other guy? Where's Joe Morton, the guy who played the original Miles Dyson?
Bring him back.
Back in Terminator 2. Like, he can't be, the age can't be that different. Who cares if he's a little older? I miss it. And I do want to shout out Lee Byung-hun, who plays the T-1000 in this movie, because he does a phenomenal... Listen, you cannot be better than Robert Patrick, but he does a very, very good job. Like, he's very good.
He's got like, I know, we'll talk about it a little bit more when he shows up, and I agree wholeheartedly. Angela can attest. If you remember, I made that comment about like, wow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were
He's got that
talking
Robert
about that.
Patrick energy. He does.
Yeah. So the music was done by Lorne Balfe. He's done music for 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. This movie, Mission Impossible Fallout, which was the latest one. He's done a lot of animated stuff. You know, the Madagascar movies, Megamind, Lego Batman. So we actually have talked about him before.
Okay, so that's relevant.
On the show. Bad Boys for Life, which was talked about on the show. The Tomorrow War, Black Widow, Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, hey, there you go.
There you go. We talked about him a lot then.
Yeah,
he's still active in the workplace. I get it.
Yeah, and he's going to be doing the music for Black Adam and the newest, and then the new Dungeons and Dragons movie that comes out next year.
Yeah, I still watched the trailer for that.
The newest Mission Impossible movies. So.
Oh, good. So yeah, he's fairly prolific musician.
Yes.
Music person.
So this was released on June 22nd over in Germany, and then it was released July 1st in the United States and the rest of the world. It budgeted around $155 million and it grossed $440 million, which put it at the second highest grossing Terminator film of all time. But yet it was still considered a failure because the reviews weren't great. So the whole plan behind this was that this was kind of like a reboot, sort of. Like this doesn't connect. This connects to Terminator 1 because you literally see scenes ripped from Terminator 1 in this movie. But so it's kind of like an alternate sequel to Terminator 1. So it kind of erases everything that happened between 2 and 4. And so they automatically, before this movie was even released, they greenlit 2 sequels for this. Because this came out in 2015, and in 2019, James Cameron actually was going to be regaining the rights back for the Terminator franchise. So they wanted to pump out more movies before James Cameron took it back. But unfortunately, because of the critical, not really critical, but it really wasn't well received, and I guess it didn't make enough money. I mean, listen, I've seen way worse movies that have made this much money or more, or a little even less, that have gotten sequels. So I'm confused. Because to be honest, I wouldn't have minded a sequel to this movie. Because I wouldn't have. I thought it had good ideas. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But unfortunately, they scrapped the sequels, and of course, James Cameron got the rights back, and that's why we got Terminator Dark Fate, which we'll talk about next week.
Yes. Or no. It's just whatever.
I hope so. Wait, what? Dan's telling me something I don't even know about. All right.
No, I've never seen the movie. I was just throwing shit out there. I'm not about it.
Oh, man. All right. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about our thoughts on this movie, because have you guys seen this before?
That was our first time.
View? So both of you, this is your first time seeing this. This is only probably my second time seeing it. I don't even know if I actually watched this Blu-ray when I bought it. I think I rented it, or I watched it on, like, it was on Netflix or something. But I think this is the first time I ever watched this Blu-ray that I didn't even know I owned.
Oh, what's this?
I was like, oh, okay, I guess I have this movie.
It's like, we do that all the time. We're like, let's watch a movie. And I'm like, we've got this? It's still wrapped.
Yeah. Well, it's like Terminator 3, the one movie I don't physically have of the Terminator franchise. I swear to God, I had it on DVD, and I don't know where it is. Or I never owned it, and I'm just crazy.
It's okay. Nothing of value was lost, so it's fine.
I know, but it's still nice to have. You know, I know. The whole franchise.
Yeah.
Listen, I got the Skynet edition of Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Yeah. Yes.
You want to know what the special features are? Special features from like 1991.
I thought you were going to say it was an extended cut with twice the amount of titties in it. Like, yes.
No.
Not one, but 2.
Moon Bloodgood comes in. She's just like, hey. And you're like, Moon, you're not even in the right movie.
Yeah, like, what are you doing? They start splicing in titty shots from other Terminator movies. Yeah. Like, remember when this happened? Like, no.
I mean, that's the thing. This was that's the thing. This movie was the first. Well, technically, Terminator Salvation was rated PG-13, but they did the director's cut, which made it rated R because of titties. And
titty cut.
Literally, that's what it should be considered. This was PG-13, so of course we didn't get the fucking Sarah Connor, fucking Kyle Reese hardcore sex scene like we did in Terminator 1. We didn't really get anything in Terminator 2. That was just it was mostly just extreme violence. And Terminator 3, we don't need to talk about that.
A little bit of Wang in Terminator 2.
Oh yeah.
Just the tip.
But this movie has probably one of the most beautiful women on the planet, Emilia Clarke, and I was like, I could have used it for a few. I love her so much. She's gorgeous.
Don't let your wife hear you say that.
I'm
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I feel like he was about to lay something real heavy down.
I was trying to think of something to say, and I'm just like, you know what? I don't care.
He's like, listen, and like, shit's fixing to get real. Right, go ahead.
Listen, the side note, this has nothing to do with Terminator, but we just watched The Gray Man over the weekend, which is the new Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans movie that came out on Netflix. And my wife loves Ryan Gosling, and I can guarantee, there was a scene where he's shirtless and he's holy fucking ripped, and I stared at her the whole time because I just wanted to see her reaction.
I love it. That's great.
She feels the same way about Ryan Gosling as I feel about Emilia Clarke, so it's okay.
At least you have a mutual thing.
So yeah, let's talk about what we thought about this movie, because to be honest, since we've started talking about this whole franchise back when we started with Terminator 1, this was one I think most people, like, I know I was like not looking forward to it. You guys had never seen it, but you probably heard a lot of negative things about it, especially from me.
Oh yeah.
Which kind of was like, this is the one. But tell me your thoughts now after actually watching the movie.
When did it come out?
This came out July 1st, 2015.
So I would have been working at the theater. Why don't I remember this? Did we not get this?
I don't know.
Because I quit in September.
I don't know.
Fuck! I don't know.
For a lot of things.
Are you gonna go? Are you gonna go?
Well, I was gonna say about this guy. So the guy that plays Danny Dyson has actually been in a movie we've reviewed.
Yeah, I know who he is now. He's the smart guy in that movie.
I need to look this up.
He's in Fresh.
He's in Fresh. Is he the bartender?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the hell out of here.
Leaves. It doesn't even look like him though. Like I mean, to be honest, I kind of, as good as Fresh was, I'm kind of like, I need to rewatch it because I kind of forgot a lot of things. That's also like a 7-year difference too. If you think about it.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
But I was looking it up. I was like, because he looks familiar. Because
he also had facial hair in that movie, which kind of facial hair really throws people off.
It does.
Well, because he was in Hunger Games.
It's active camouflage.
Cool. Yeah, it really is.
It is. So, it seriously is.
I was like,
if I shaved my beard right now, you guys, I would come on the show and you'd be like, "What happened?
Who is this?
What have you done with Brett?"
Yeah, where's Parker?
Where's
Parker?
What did you do with
Where did Parker go?
Every time you get really loud, your mic just cuts out, so it's just nothing, or it's just a big grumble.
So you guys, if you're curious, I said, "Where did the Parker go?" in like a very gravelly voice. Sorry, I keep forgetting it does that because the fucking noise gate.
You have the threat. Yeah. Your threshold is certain. Yeah. Mine does the same thing, but whatever.
But
yeah,
you want me to go first?
Somebody.
I'll go first.
No, wait. Go ahead.
I just
shit.
You just said shit. Don't say that. Bad word.
I didn't say anything.
No, she said she. Carry on.
Go away. Go away. I'm gonna kick you out of here. So for people that have been so negative, I like the movie. I don't know. I can't. Yeah, it was weird seeing, going back to scenes from previous movies and seeing it again. Mm-hmm. I'm like, the first time we watched it, I was like, are we watching the right movie? I'm like, did I turn the right one on?
That is a pretty good shot. Like shot for shot shit in that movie. Yeah. I was like,
because I'm like, surely they're not going to redo this again. So that was my only I'm like, okay, because I had to go in with low expectations because of,
what you heard,
all the negativity that I
Right.
I mean, your post on Twitter was like, I was like, did anybody like this?
Get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to those comments at the end of the show.
So I went in with low expectations, and I liked the special effects. Like the scene, the MRI machine. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, that was a cool scene.
I liked Lee Byung-hun's portrayal of the T-1000.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that. I mean, for as old as Arnold Schwarzenegger is, he did a good job. He did a good job. He kept up with everybody. So yeah, I liked it. I liked our non-sex scene. We'll get to that one.
Non-sex scene.
Oh, I got a comment for that one. Something I noticed when you showed that thing to me earlier that I didn't say anything about. Yes. I'll let you finish though.
I mean, I definitely would watch it again, and I watched it twice.
Kind of. It was like 1.25 times.
Watched it in clips.
So when we get older, that's just how it works. You get tired. You gotta watch something, and you're like,
yeah. And our couch is so comfy that every time I sit on it, I'm like, okay, it's bedtime.
I'm gonna give all of you guys advice, like or anybody. When you get a significant other and they fall asleep on the couch, don't wake them up.
You didn't even try and wake me.
I did, and she beat me.
You did not. That's what he was telling the kids earlier. I'm like, I did not.
I was like, wife, no.
She just closed fist, socked you in the mouth with her eyes closed.
Yep. She's like, stop it.
I was even trying to finish it on the couch earlier. I'm like, nope, can't fall asleep.
You gotta sit up.
I can't help it.
That's the trick. You can't you can't even be like slouching. For me, that's how it works for me. Like if I lay down or I'm slouching, I'm gone. If I gotta literally stand straight up and I gotta get a drink. If I'm drinking, it doesn't have to be alcohol, but like drinking anything, as long as I'm like moving while I'm doing it. Also, I'm writing notes, so it keeps me awake.
Well, we were eating dinner, and like immediately as soon as I got done eating, I was like, yep, it's coming.
Well, admittedly, in her defense, the 2 nights before we had some pretty shitty sleep. Like the last 2 prior, for some reason, we just could not sleep the last 2 nights ahead of that. So like you're compounding 2 days worth of a lack of sleep.
Yeah.
And yeah, I actually fell asleep like for that was because that was when I was streaming.
Oh yeah, you
because I fell asleep and I overslept and I had to stream and I was like 10-15 minutes late. So people are like, where are you at? I'm like half asleep coming on the fucking stream. I'm like, yeah. So anyway, I am going to air with essentially what she said. I went into all of these movies pretty much with a lot. The thought for every film we've done so far is everything sucks after Terminator 2. Which generally was the consensus that I heard from a lot of people. This one I felt was a competent movie. I was told that it had interesting ideas and concepts, but the execution was flawed either the whole movie or at certain points in the movie. And I sat around with bated breath at points like, okay, when's this shit gonna happen? It's just gonna irritate me and make me mad. And I never got any of that. I like the characters. I guess probably my least interesting one for me, but I still thought he did a fine job was Jai, who did Kyle Reese.
Yep.
But I still thought he did a fairly competent job for Kyle Reese. Jason Clarke, I liked part of his performance, and I'll explain that later when we get to it. And I'm sure you all will agree with when I get to that. J.K. Simmons was great. Was it? How do you say her name?
Sandry.
No, Clark.
Oh,
Amelia Clark.
Amelia. Okay,
oh, Amelia Clark. You were looking on here. So.
Things about her face remind me of Linda Hamilton. Is that just me?
I got the same thing. Like there are certain scenes where you're looking at, I'm like, oh shit. Like I kind of get why they casted her, but I think they cast her for other reasons. But because Game of Thrones was huge at the time.
Oh, okay. But I like looked at it. I didn't know if it was just my mind trying to fill things in to make it look like Schwarzenegger was good. Lee Byung-hun or whatever. He did a great job. Matt Smith though, like I thought he was an odd choice for what they used him for in this movie. I thought it was really. I got nothing against him.
I didn't like that whole thing. It just was like that threw me off of this movie. But
I'm trying to continue. I don't want to his character. Okay. Because I'm like, he looks familiar. I had to look him up. I know what he's from.
Doctor
Yeah,
Who.
it's Doctor Who.
I did know that.
Yeah, he's one of the
But he
one
just
of the doctors.
seemed like a
I was like,
really
why does he-
odd choice.
Mm.
Honestly, I felt his appearance in this movie is irrelevant. It could have been anybody else,
Oh,
to be
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Anybody. But I thought the action was good. It was a pretty smooth 2 hours. This is a
Yeah.
little over 2 hours. I think it was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
It went through pretty well. The action was good. I liked the twists, like what they were trying to do. Because I started nitpicking at the beginning. I was like, this date's not right. This date's not right. Then I figured out, oh, this is based on the timeline of the original movie, not the one
Yep.
we've been following coming back around.
Right.
Like I said, not as many practical effects as I would have liked, but
Yeah.
it's a lot of CG in this, but there are some pretty cool shots.
Yeah, we'll talk about the CG in this movie.
Yeah, there's some pretty cool shots from later, but I liked it. I don't know. I don't think this is better. I think I still like Salvation more than this movie, but I still liked this movie. I thought it was a competent film.
So any prosthetic work, prosthetic makeup, or animatronics was done by Legacy Effects, which is a company that was started from a lot of Stan Winston's people.
Mm-hmm.
And there were 6 different companies who did the visual effects, and it's like some of them are good, some of them are not so good. You have anything else you want to talk about, Dan?
Oh, that was it. I just bring it to a close. I mean, I liked the movie. Wasn't perfect, but I found it enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not a hardcore Terminator fan, so like, it still kind of did something different. I do have this one last thing. It still did kind of try to do something different, but it goes back to the fallacy of these movies that's starting to get annoying for me. Is they just keep retreading 1 and 2. Like I know it's more 1 than 2, but that's why I like Salvation, because it did something different.
They
keep 1 and 2. They just can't let it go.
No, they can't come up with a new idea.
Yeah.
So going into this movie, I'd only seen it once, and I remember not liking it. Yeah, I bought the Blu-ray. I don't understand. And then of course, like when it comes to anyone's list, when it comes to Terminator movies, usually this is the bottom. I went into this movie with such low expectations and expecting something way worse than what I actually got. The first 2 acts of this movie are actually really good. I think they were well thought out, and the execution, I think, was there. The 3rd act was so just like, oh, that's how it ends? Like, it was so anticlimactic. It was just kind of like, I like the idea of like what would happen if John Connor was compromised, because this is the man who is the savior. Like, he's the savior of humanity, and what would happen if he was compromised. I liked the initial idea of it, but by the end I was like, this is just, it's dumb. It's just really dumb. And some of the visual effects, some of them are really good. They look like, I don't know how, I never like looking at the T-800s in CG form. I love the practicals, and of course they go away with that. And like a lot of the Future Wars scenes, you have a lot of T-800s, and they're all so very, very, very shiny. Like overly
They're
shiny.
too shiny. Like,
and
why
they're just
would they
like,
be that way?
they feel more expressive, and you're like, they're fucking robots, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, some of the CG is very good, and some of the CG is awful.
Mhm.
Just terrible. Like, it hurt my eyes to watch, because it's just but there's so much CG in this movie. You're just like, oh, I can tell. And when I'm reading that there was 6 different companies that did the visual effects for this movie, I'm like, oh, I could tell now, because it's like, this is looking really crisp, and there's like, what happened here?
Mhm.
I want to praise the performances. I think, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, he's played the same character in 3 other movies, so this is his 4th. Like, he's just playing the same thing over again. He's literally playing the Terminator from Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Smile.
I like Emilia Clarke. I do see the resemblance with Linda Hamilton, which kind of was like, okay, I see it. But I feel like she was cast in this movie. For one, I think she's a very good actress. But 2, because Game of Thrones was very popular at the time. I think she did good for what she was given as like the new direction of Sarah Connor. Jai Courtney did fine in this movie, but he didn't feel like Kyle Reese. Like if you're thinking of like, because if you think about it, these are supposed to be the characters from Terminator 1 because it's the same event. It's what you get to see the before and then the journey that Kyle takes from, the future back to 1984. And I understand it's an alternate version, but like he just didn't feel like, I don't want him to be like, I need you to be exactly like Michael Biehn, but like give me something more. He just didn't feel like the fish out of water, which is what Michael Biehn was in Terminator 1. Like when he goes to the past and even when he finds Sarah and all the things are happening, he still feels like a fish out of water. And Jai Courtney didn't at all. It just felt like he was there. Agree. He got with Sarah and everything's like, everything's fine. We're acquainted with each other and everything's going to be fine. I like the fact that we got the original plot for Terminator 1 in this movie. So the original plot for Terminator 1 was Skynet sends the T-800 and it fails. So they end up sending the T-1000.
Yeah, because we were talking about that.
That's what this movie did. Except for I think the T-1000 was already there when they sent the T-800. I think they had actually sent 2 Terminators. I don't know. They don't really talk about it in super detail, but I guess this also changes the timeline of things, like when Terminators were sent back. So it's like 1984 isn't the first time a Terminator sent back everybody. Because in this universe, Sarah, oh my God, we get to the plot. It's a whole thing. That's just like, back up. Let me rewind this. I need to listen to this story again because I'm like, what the fuck? And then they don't really close out why certain things happen.
Yep.
That moth.
I'm sorry, we're watching it.
I'm watching it.
It went right in front of the.
Worship me, ship me with Godzilla.
That's what I was looking at because I hit it over here and it went behind me. I was trying to get you to get it.
I have one more thing to add once you get done with your.
Jason Clarke was good in the beginning, and then when the twist happens, I didn't like him. I didn't like his character, and I understand because of his change, and he's supposed to be not liked, but I just didn't like that whole storyline. Like I didn't like the direction that this movie went. I do need to praise the music because it feels like a Terminator like it feels they used the theme, which was great. We ended this movie and what do you play over the credits? You play the fucking Terminator theme, and they did it. They even did the
good. It's not that hard.
I was like, yes, we're back.
Thank you. Somebody was listening. Someone was taking notes.
And yeah, Matt Smith, kind of pointless. I feel like they set that up of what he was, and it just didn't pay off very well. It was just like,
no.
It literally was like, okay, this seems cool. And then it's over. And you're like, oh, yep. All right, sweet.
True facts.
Overall, I didn't hate it, but also it's just not, it started off pretty strong and it just literally drops off a cliff at the end. Where I was just like, oh, that's a terrible ending. And then we got something else at the end, which we'll talk about when we get into the plot, which I thought was pretty interesting. That went literally nowhere other than the fact it was like, he's back. Yay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, when you get done. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, my thing was, I had 2 things. I remember once we started talking about this movie and I actually watched it, and I realized whoever did the trailers for this movie was a fucking moron and they spoiled the movie. Bad. When the trailers first came out.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Because they got to show the twist. And you're like,
they do. They spoiled the big fucking twist.
Okay. Yeah, I remember seeing the trailers for this movie and I was just like, oh, well, that seems dumb. And that's probably why I didn't see it in theaters, because I swear I saw Salvation in theaters. And of course, it's Terminator. I'm like, oh, and then I saw the trailer and I was like, this looks dumb.
Yep. And then the other thing was, I thought this movie actually, because Salvation was played pretty straight, but I thought this movie had an interesting, like some decent little quips, but they were very rare. They were sprinkled in there. It's in a remind me kind of like Terminator 2. Like, you know, there's little things maybe meant to be hysterical, but they're just kind of little funny things that are just kind of like dropped in the movie just every once in a while.
Yeah.
Like, what do they got in this bunker? Guns, grenades, ammo. They have pants, Kyle Reese.
Yeah.
Did he make a joke? Was that a joke? Can he make jokes? Yeah, it was good.
And a smile.
Oh yeah, smile was good. But like I said, it wasn't overused. It wasn't like fucking Terminator 3, where like everything, you know, some of their jokes were just dumb as fuck. Like they're just kind of like, hey, there's a breadcrumb.
I mean, listen, we're at the beginning of this episode, and I'll already say this is better than Terminator 3. I think Terminator 3, I mean, I've like the next one we're going to review, which is Dark Fate, I've only seen once as well. And I can already bet that it's still better than Terminator 3. Because Terminator
It has to be.
It's just not good.
Unless that movie totally shits his pants. I could not see it. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
All right. You guys ready to break down this plot?
Please.
Plot! Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun,
oh! Sarah Connor!
Are you gonna mate now?
When are you going to mate? Stop saying it like that. Fuck.
God, I'm not. Stop saying it. So we open up this movie to a voiceover by adult Kyle Reese. He talks about the world before Judgment Day. And you get to see, like, this is probably the most dramatic version of Judgment Day we've seen in any of these movies, other than the fact of seeing Linda Hamilton like fry on a fence in Terminator 2 when she has that daydream.
Yeah.
But like you get to see all the missiles go up, they hit everything. You see like the Golden Gate Bridge just fold in on itself. You see all the buildings just get wiped out. It's pretty dramatic. Visuals are kind of hit and miss, kind of looks like a cartoon. But but you get to see you know, you hear about like Skynet took control and boom, the world is gone pretty much. We then cut to the future where you get an ashy playground where you get you see all like the pieces of the playground just covered in ash.
Yeah.
And it's San Francisco because you see like the broken Golden Gate Bridge in the distance, even though we just saw it like fold in half but it's still somewhat intact in the okay. Fine. I guess that makes sense. But right in the middle of the city is a Skynet prison, I guess. And we get to see some T-800s, some very, very shiny CG T-800s, which is just so it's always disappointing when it's like, I understand if you're shooting a scene where there's a T-800 like running or doing something very like, you know, that it looked too clunky for practical effects. But when it's literally just the T-800 staring into the camera, as it does in every Terminator movie, you can give me a practical T-800.
Great. Be fantastic. Just pull one out of storage, we'll believe it.
Yeah. Kyle is just a little boy, and he lives in the sewers. And he just keeps talking about, you know, how Skynet had created pretty much, they created Terminators that looked like people, and they were hunting him. And you get to see, like, he sees a dog, he pets the dog, and you remember from the past movies that the dogs can sense when a Terminator is around. And he turns around, and it's just a guy standing there with the minigun, just like the Terminator that breaks into the bunker in T1, I think, during the flashback.
Yeah.
And as he thinks he's going to die, someone drops in and kills the Terminator real fast, by the way. I was like, damn.
It's John Connor.
And it's John Connor.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to spoil the surprise.
No, you got it. That's fine.
Fuck.
There he is. And he reaches down, he grabs his hand, and he goes, "You're going to get older, but I'm going to stay the same age." And then they rise to the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Just, he reaches his hand down, he's like, little boy. Like, whoa, what the fuck? And you find out, and he talks about how he's like the prophet, like, you know, somehow he knows things that people shouldn't know. How does he know all
the
these
future.
things? Yeah.
And I do like when they showed the processing camps, which is a nice nod to Terminator Salvation.
Yep.
When they're rounding the humans up.
Yeah, they got the barcodes on their arms that they
Mhm.
scan. So they need to take out. So now it's Kyle's older, and they're setting up a mission to take out this new machine that Skynet has hidden underneath their base, I guess. And you find out it's the time machine that
Yep.
sends the Terminator from the original. Kyle has the pick. I like how he's got the pick of Sarah from the original Terminator, but it's now they had to like superimpose Amelia Clarke instead of it being Linda Hamilton. It's the same picture of her at the end of Terminator 1. John gives a speech, and while the speech is going on, it shows the assault on the base. And that is when Skynet activates the Model T-101, which is the T-800 that we see in the original Terminator. And he is going to that time machine. And they got to get there before that happens. Or it doesn't matter what happens, what the result of this war is. So Skynet, so in the end, though, I guess Skynet falls. Like, it's over. The war is over. But because the T-800 was sent back before it happens, it doesn't matter. Because if that T-800 kills Sarah, it means John's never born. It means, which I'm so confused. How does that work? How the fuck does that work? So let's say you're hanging out with John Connor in 2029, right? And let's say the T-800 gets sent back and no one does anything about it. And Sarah dies. Does John just evaporate from existence? Does it say, what happens?
But in theory, like, it wouldn't work that way. The person wouldn't just evaporate. Like, if they succeeded, the entire timeline would just instantly change, and they would have no recollection of it. Because if he didn't exist, everything leading up to that point wouldn't have happened.
Right.
So I think that's why when you do stuff like that, it's like, I guess it's more believed that you just make a divergent timeline instead of it affecting the existing one. But whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So the Terminator. So we then see the opening of the Terminator, which is the guy in the garbage truck chewing on his cigar. It's not the same actor. I kind of wish they just redid the whole scene like they just with the regular actors, because we get to a part and I'm just like, I don't like this. So the Terminator shows up, and I like how they show. So it's a visual effect. It's another guy, and they just superimpose Arnold Schwarzenegger's face onto it, but they do the same movements. But the close up shot is actually ripped from the Terminator. Like, it's actually just that same scene. So it's actually Arnold Schwarzenegger from the original. But when they do farther away shots, it's all visual effects.
I thought they did a pretty decent job with the blending.
It looked pretty good until they fight. Then it looks awful.
Yeah. So and everything, all the weight and shit looks weird.
Yeah. So we're back to 2029. John tells the story about his mom, and that's who the Terminator is going to go try to kill. And the Terminator was sent back to kill her. Kyle volunteers to go. Actually, a lot of people volunteer to go, but clearly John... I like how Kyle volunteers, and he questions him more than he questions anybody. He's like, why should I send you back? He's like, because I know her. It's like, everyone here knows Sarah Connor. It's like, because I have this picture, and I touch myself to it all every night. And they're like, we didn't need to know that, Kyle.
I know her.
Stop. Yeah, he's like, I know her personally, intimately. I was like, Kyle, shut the fuck up.
Give me that picture back. Why do you keep stealing that? I don't remember that stain.
Dun, 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 dun.
Exactly.
It's like, why are you demonstrating the noise?
that screaming is just Kyle Reese. He's just a screamer. It's fine. He's vocal when he gets in the throes.
Oh God. So John tells Kyle. So pretty much, John's like, yeah, okay, you could be the one, and he tells him about what to expect, and he tells him that, yeah, I don't know what's happening. No, that Sarah is gonna be like the Sarah you're gonna meet is gonna be, she's gonna be clueless, she's gonna be weak, she's gonna be scared. You need to be there for her and protect her and blah blah blah.
One bit of subtlety I like in that. He's like, you'll find her. She's just trying to pay rent and tuition. She's a waitress. What's a waitress? And he just kind of laughs. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's like little shit like that, dude. I will say, like I said, it's again, this is far from a great movie. It's barely a good movie, but it is enjoyable, and it does have some nice subtleties to it here and there.
Yeah.
So,
and he says the speech that Kyle says to Sarah in the first Terminator. I can't remember the exact words to it.
Yeah.
It's something that John says to Kyle. And yeah, of course, I got to tell you, like, you can't you gotta go naked because, like, it doesn't, I guess, what does it do if you wear clothes? Does it just not send you back? Does it kill you? Like, does it fuse it to your skin? Like, what?
Yeah, it won't send anything non-organic, apparently.
So pretty much if you were just to hop in that thing with clothes on, it would just deteriorate your clothes and you just end up being naked anyway.
Just won't have clothes.
I don't know, unless it just has adverse reactions in general, like it just doesn't comply with non-organics. I have no idea. Maybe it just like shuts down or something. But he like has to hang dong.
Yeah. In front of all of his colleagues. Everybody.
Yeah. The one
like everybody's staring at him.
Yeah,
like, the one lady's all about it.
It's cold. Okay. It's cold. Shut up, Karen.
No. She's pretty excited about it. I think this believe me, I don't think the dude's got fucking Vienna sausage going on, and I've got something to support this theory later. I will tell you when we get there. I think this dude is going like redwood totally.
What I was telling him, like when they turn the machine on and he's like levitating, I'm like, is it going up too?
That's what I thought too. I was like, buoyancy.
This franchise, we can never escape talking about any movies in this fucking franchise without talking about dong.
Dude, except the first one.
This movie, the first two movies got strong dong in them.
They sure do.
And this one this just hands it to you on a silver platter. Of course, I know again, I'm just a pervert, and that's just how I am. But like, it hands it to you on a silver. And she didn't show me that scene earlier, I would not be having this conversation. I'm telling you.
I mean, I was gonna bring it up anyway.
Oh no, it was just something in the scene when you watch it. I was like, oh. I was like, and it wasn't what you were talking about.
So Kyle, as
Stick
he's
to the future,
as he's about to get beamed away, he sees John gets attacked.
Do you think? Hold on.
No, Lord.
Do you think when he starts levitating, it ends up like a compass and his dick points magnetic north? Whoop!
Oh Lord!
I don't know why. I just thought
it disappointed him.
All right, carry on. So,
oh God! So yeah, John gets attacked, and Kyle sees it right as he's about to disappear.
Really quickly. Yeah,
like the freaking Matt Smith just comes up behind him and grabs his face. You don't really see what actually happens at that time because Kyle's gone. But while Kyle's going through whatever the fuck is going on, when he's going through the time travel, he's getting visions of things that he doesn't understand because he's seeing like a kid, living at a farmhouse doing things. Then like he looks at a tablet and it's like Genisys is, once Genisys is live, then that's when the world changes forever. And he's like, what the fuck?
I already have a second.
And then you hear you can kill Skynet before it's born.
And does that one that says the date, or is it later? I think it says the date here because it says something like 2017.
Yeah, what is it? October?
Yeah, something like 2017. Yeah.
No. So Kyle arrives in 1984 in the grungy alleyway next to the bum.
Mm-hmm.
We go back to the observatory where the Terminator showed up. And they meet the three punks, the same three punks we saw in the first movie, but all new actors. I don't like it. I really went like
I knew
I
you were
I
gonna
mean Bill
point that out.
Paxton I think was still alive at this time. I think he died a couple years later. But
Mhm.
you could have just been like, "Hey Bill, can we just use like your likeness in the scene and just get those 3 guys to just like just why we didn't need 3 new actors." It threw me off. I was like, I understand what they're trying to do and, you know, it is what it is. It
Yeah.
just didn't feel the same. But right before, you know, because in the original, those 3 punks get killed by the Terminator. But right before all that's about to go down, that's when you hear good old Pops from behind. He walks
Yeah,
up.
it's
He's
all
like, "I've been waiting for you," and he takes off his cool hood and then he shoots the Terminator with his
Yeah.
shotgun. And this is when the visual effects they look terrible. Oh my god.
Yeah, they do not hold up.
This fight between Pops and the T-800 are just awful. It's so clunky.
Yeah.
Everything's just like, I understand they're cyborgs, but like it doesn't need to look like this. It looks awful. So while all this is going on, you see a woman climbing up the stairs to the observatory to get to the roof, and she's got this big old sniper rifle with some big old bullets, and she shoots the T-800 in the chest, which kills it. You know, so there it is, and that's when you get the. I do like the thing where Pops turns around and gives her the thumbs up.
Yeah.
We get the recreation of the bum getting his pants stolen, where the cop pulls up and John runs away. He's like, "Hey, that guy stole my pants!" I like the first guy better. The guy from the original was way better at reacting. It's like, "Hey, man, that guy stole my pants!" As he's like, his legs are like flailing in the air.
I told Angela that we were watching it.
Did you just catch that moth and just squish it in your hand?
I did. Yep, it's dead.
Oh
I got no time for that shit.
They're annoying.
They are. No, I actually I said that. It's like, I got son of a bitch stole my pants, and like he actually said it. I was like, he said the line. Like
that guy. Shit, where am I? Oh, the cop that pulls up though, because in the original it was the cop who corners Kyle, and then he takes the gun. He's like, if you're gonna point a gun at somebody, make sure you're prepared to pull the trigger. But instead, no, this is a T-1000 because it's as soon as it like runs up to him and like he like reacts with it, it doesn't react to him. Like it's just very stone face. And and then it starts shooting him, and you get the like the freaking things in his chest. All this is visual, by the way. There's no practical. I don't think there's any practical effects with this T-1000 as there was back in Terminator 2. I could be wrong. But yeah, I really like this performance. Though I was kind of skeptical. I think the first time I saw this, I was like, "Ooh, like Robert Patrick. That's my T-1000." But I guess he was approached. But he was like, "I'm too old for that shit. I have a bad hip. I can't be running around doing that shit."
I saw that run and killed his hip on that dope ass run.
Well, guess what? Arnold Schwarzenegger and Robert Patrick are not the same. Arnold Schwarzenegger has, until the day he dies, will be outlifting people, outdoing things. Like that man is a beast.
I mean,
Robert Patrick.
don't make excuses.
I wouldn't be able to do it either.
No, absolutely not.
I like his performance, so I was happy that the performance of this character was good.
Even like the shape of his face, like his jawline and stuff, reminds me of Robert Patrick.
Yeah,
like his silhouette and stuff, facially just reminds me of it. And like he is dedicated to it. I think he does the run great. He reacts to everything great. I think there's even sometimes, and this is nothing against or for Robert Patrick, especially when he's like shooting weapons and stuff, he's even more robotic at times because he just fires, just opens his hand and drops them.
Yep.
Like he's like, I thought, like I said, it's literally one of the best performances in the movie. And he doesn't say anything. It's all physical acting. He does a great job.
So Kyle runs into the clothing store. He gets dressed up like he did in the original Terminator. We're going to be referencing the original Terminator a lot because a good quarter of this movie is just recreating a lot of the things that go on in that movie. But he's in that same clothing store. He gets all dressed up, and then he runs into the T-1000. But then he like escapes him, and then he runs into 2 actual cops, and they arrest him. And Kyle's trying to like talk his way out of it. It's like, if you don't let me go, we're all gonna die. And as they're walking out of the store, the T-1000 stabs one of them in the back. Kyle and the other cop like go behind, they hide behind something, and right before the T-1000 is about to do something, attack Kyle, that's when Sarah drives through the front of the store in the big like I guess prison truck. Like it's like prison transport truck. And takes out the T-1000, and she opens the door, and what does she say?
Come to me if you want to.
Come on me if you want to live. I mean, come with me if you want to live. Da, 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 da.
Oh my god.
It's later. I'm sorry. We're in a different timeline. That doesn't count. That does not count.
I am. That is the next TikTok, everybody. That is the next thing we are putting.
We're getting so many from Terminator, dude. We're getting
so many good ones. So many good ones. Holy shit. That was the best one.
Let the others.
Oh my god.
Let the others of us have a turn.
No,
I just whatever as it comes on, like whatever is on top of my brain. Just boop, off the top.
God, that was so good. There you go, Dan. You see, you got mad at me because I cut one of your jokes from last episode. So I'm giving this one to you. This one isn't as bad, but I'll be a little bit more lenient. I already just accept that we don't have I don't think women watch this or listen to this shit. If you do, thank you.
One day, folks, if we ever make like an appearance somewhere, if we get like that big, I may tell somebody what that joke is, not in a public setting. Like I might say like, hey, this is what that joke was, but we're not going to tell you what the joke was.
Oh god.
So it's gonna like stew. Like, what was that joke they cut? They'll never know.
That was the best one though.
3 people will know. 3 people.
So Sarah, while they're driving back, Sarah tells Kyle that she knows everything about everything, pretty much about how Kyle was being sent. Like she knows that Kyle was coming. She knows what's supposed to happen and all that. And he's like, what the fuck is going on here? How do you know all this stuff? And she points to the back where he sees the dead T-800, but then he sees Pops in the way back. And he's like, oh, that's another Terminator here to attack. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Because this fucking dude's just sitting back there like a kid in the back of the bus waiting to get to school. And he's like, he's gonna get you. I fucking hate this. And even after Sarah's like, no, he's good. And Kyle's still like oblivious to it. Like, no, he's gonna kill it. This is what I hated. This is when I hated Kyle Reese. This, like, anytime it had to do with Pops, I was like, clearly she knows this Terminator and that he's really done nothing to harm her. What the fuck are you doing? I get it, but I don't get it. I understand that what he deals with in the future, but I'm just like, I feel like once she's like, listen, like, let me tell you about him and stop overreacting. And then it'd be like, okay, we can have a better understanding. But instead, he just like blatantly ignores her, pretty much calls her a fucking idiot. It's like, no, I'm going to kill this thing. But instead, he grabs that sniper and is going to shoot him. And she even states, like, if you can't, like, that'll kill him. And what kind of gun is this?
Yeah, pretty sure. I know it's a Barrett. I'm pretty sure it's a Barrett M82. I could be wrong. It's 50 cal. But, somebody tell me if I'm, incorrect on that.
So Pops grabs the gun and smokes him in the head. And I love those. It's like, oh, great.
Like I didn't kill him, or he's not dead.
Yeah.
He's not. Kyle Reese is not dead.
Oh, fuck. I forgot they make that really great joke. Later in the movie. That just made me think of that. Like, he hasn't killed anybody. There's a lot of leg wounds, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That was, yeah.
That was great.
And, he's knocked out in the back, and she's, you know, she talks to him, and then that's when he's like, oh, you know, and that's when says like, oh, well, now you guys can mate or something like that in that vein. And she's like,
Yeah.
what? Why do you got to say it like that?
Yeah.
And then she goes into a whole thing about like she doesn't like, her future is predetermined and she doesn't like that. She wants to make her own decisions in life. And it's like, yeah, I get it. That's kind of shitty that you're like destined to do these things. It's like, you know, yeah, I mean, she knows exactly what her past, what is supposed to happen. Like she knows that she's supposed to fall in love with him. You know, they have sex for her to get pregnant, and then John's born and all that. So, but she's like, I just don't like this. And then of course Pops is back there like pushing her, like, do it.
Now, do it now. Get on the man's penis now.
Oh, it doesn't get any better from here, people. So once Kyle wakes up, she tells him about Pops. That Pops was sent back when she was 9. And you don't get the whole story of why. You just get that he was sent back when she was 9 years old and he has been there to protect her. And also you kind of get the idea that I'm confused because it's like, does every T-800 that comes to the past go to the same bar and take the same clothes?
It has to.
Because when you see him later as the younger version, when spoiler for we're kind of ahead here, but you see him younger, he's wearing the same exact biker outfit that he wears in Terminator 1. That like the T-800 wears in Terminator. I'm like, do they all go to the same bar and steal? That one guy's just getting his clothes stolen every time. He's like, son of a bitch, where is this guy coming from? And what did you do with the last set of clothes?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So while all this is happening, the T-800. Oh, I like that. Pops shoots the hinge on the back door.
Yeah.
It falls and it's got a little bit of the T-1000. And it drives up in the cop car and it like just rubs its hand across the ground to collect it.
Yeah, because it was using it to track him. That's pretty cool.
And
pretty clever.
And it attacks the car, and I do like this scene's really cool because oh man, this is when the visuals looked good. Is when he's driving and he smashes his head through the windshield and then he morphs out onto the hood of the car.
Yeah.
And then he turns it into the blades that have like the little nips on it, like he had in T2. And he jumps out, and as he's jumping, he gets shot, and it like blasts him into the car. And then they shoot, and then Kyle just goes, rocket launcher or grenade launcher, it just blows the car up. And
showing that Kyle knows how to do the job.
Yes. And you get the cool scene where all the liquid forms back together, and he walks out of the fire. And a lot of nods to T1 and T2 in this first half of the movie. They go to a hideout, and the T-1000 shows up almost immediately. So this was a plan, though. This was supposed to happen. And a lot of people judge this shot. I really like this shot where the T-1000 forms the spear on his arm, and he cuts it, and it flies up in the air, and he catches it, and then fucking throws it like a javelin.
That was a cool shot.
Spears Pops right in the chest, and I was like, that was cool.
Oh, that was a cool shot, dude.
That was a really cool shot.
Pretty sure it was in the trailer, too.
Yeah, it was.
35 seconds or less.
He's like, he'll be here in approximately 35 seconds or less, after he bursts through the wall or less.
And after that, he walks by the T-800 that was shot, and he puts a little bit of his shit in him, and it wakes him back up. And he goes after, so the T-1000 goes after Sarah as Kyle's trying to shoot him, and then the T-800 wakes up and goes after Kyle, and immediately he blasts him with a grenade launcher. A lot of times in this movie where grenade launchers are shot at things from very close range, and there's no repercussions for it.
Yeah.
Like no, oh my god, that shrapnel in my eyes or anything. It's just
it's
well, the if I remember correct, the millimeter grenades that the M203 grenade launchers shoot, or even like rotary grenade launchers shoot, those I'm pretty sure have a distance trigger that they won't detonate at close range.
Hmm.
Like they have to travel a certain distance or time before the warhead will actually arm.
Like, no, this is all impact. Don't worry about
That's
it.
it.
Like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So he immediately blasts the T-800, which then it turns into the exoskeleton version of the T-800, which is cool. And so Sarah, and then so yeah, you see that fight. That fight doesn't last very long. Like Kyle just bests him. He ends up blasting the head off of the T-800 as it's about to literally throw its fist through his head.
Yeah.
This is where Sarah runs into like a room that's got multiple tunnels that lead into it, and you see there's like barrels above it, but you don't really know what's in them. And she's there, and Kyle runs in and is just like, Sarah, help him, hurt, blah, blah, blah. And immediately you knew this is the fake, like this was the T-1000. And then because the other Kyle runs, he's like, oh shit, like he just reacts more human.
Yeah.
And Sarah shoots the T-1000 in the foot. It turns into liquid, so of course it changes back. And she tells Kyle to run, and as like it's running towards her, she shoots at the barrels above, and it starts raining acid, which starts dissolving the T-1000. And then when she's outside and it's getting closer, and it comes out of the acid and starts attacking her, but it's all like fucking rah!
Yeah.
And Pops grabs it and then holds it out into the acid, which then dissolves his arm. I was like, how does it, like, I guess that alloy that I use for the T-800s doesn't dissolve in acid. It's just the T-1000s because it's liquid metal.
Yeah, I wonder if it's probably. I'm assuming it's since the T-800s probably used the metals as some type of different corrosion resistance. Yeah. Or like you said, the other one's it's already it's a metal that can be liquid. It's like a non-Newtonian fluid. It can kind of be both. Whatever. It reacts different to it. I'm guessing. I don't know. But I was wondering. I was like, why didn't his arm just melt off? I was like, maybe he's just gonna like take the arm off the other one and like put it on. That's what I thought was gonna happen. But
I don't know. I thought it was a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, I thought it was.
It was a cool scene.
I was just glad that the way they decided to take it out wasn't let's just throw it in lava.
Yeah.
They actually thought of a different way. They're as much as this movie bases itself on or borrows ideas from the previous ones with homages and complete shots sometimes.
Yeah.
I was just surprised they weren't like, let's just kill him just like we did the last movie or in the second movie.
Yeah.
Because they could have easily done that.
Yeah. So they go down into this basement where there is a time machine, and Kyle's like, what the fuck? And her plan is to go to the future, right? She wants to go to 1997 because that's when the original Judgment Day was supposed to happen. But Kyle's like, hey, I had a vision where Judgment Day doesn't happen the way you think. It actually happens in 1997 or 2017 with something called Genisys. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, we're going to 1997. We're going to do this. And he's like, listen, I know what I saw. I feel like this is the best option. And he ends up taking the chip that runs the machine to like threaten her. And she like pulls the gun out on him. And you're like, oh shit, what is going on here?
They can't make babies if she kills him.
Mm-hmm. And she changes her mind because what the fuck does he tell her?
He tells her the
straight line, yeah. Which at first I was like, how did he just know that from the vision? But then you realize, oh, it's because of something that happens later. I
still found this part kind of hokey.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
But the fact that they just happened to believe it's very much like I said, this movie's got some flaws. This one is a big one though. They just happen to believe Kyle.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he has like this thing he says it's like apparently like a significant like but like fuck him, go to 1997.
Yeah. So that whole interaction though of the just follow the straight line thing, she persuades her to change her mind, and they're going to go to 2017. They get told that they gotta. Tells her that she tells him everything about time travel. He's like, yeah, I know. I just did it pretty much like fucking 20 minutes ago. And she thinks Pops is going to go, but Pops can't go because he's got to let his arm. I guess the skin heals back, like it grows back.
He mentioned that. They mentioned that in previous Terminators, though.
Did they?
Like the skin does it because they talked about why they asked him why he looked old earlier.
Right, because they use actual
living human skin.
Tissue. Yeah.
Yeah, so it still ages and it does repair, but it'll just take a long time.
It's old, not obsolete.
Yeah, old, not obsolete.
Yeah. So they're in the locker room and Kyle's telling Sarah about John and like about how like they have a really close relationship where, I don't think I've ever, I think I'm the only one who's ever seen John smile, and we talked, and John, we've done this and this and this, and I was like, okay. And you get the weird scene where they're like stripping and like he stares at her naked shadow, and you're like, oh, that's
shadow boobies.
That's the closest we're ever going to see Emilia Clarke naked in this movie. I just watched Game of Thrones season 1.
There you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
So she tells the story about
how her life got flipped, turned upside down.
Yeah,
I'd like to think of
that. Oh jeez. Oh boy. No, yeah, she tells him the story about how she was rescued by Pops when she was 9. Her whole family was attacked by a T-1000 back in 1973. And like, wait a second. But they don't. It's like, well, who sent the Terminators back? I don't know. And you never find out.
Yep.
I don't like that. But I guess it's because there's supposed to be sequels to this movie, so that would have probably been the hey, this is what was going on. Like, but that's the confusion. That's the thing. Like, I get where the direction they were trying to go into, but the fact of like there was just no explanation of like what was the point. So John being attacked and being corrupted, which you'll later see, did that cause the alternate version where the Terminators had to be sent back in 1973 instead of being sent when she's an adult? Because of course, like it's confusing to me. Yeah. And anyone who watches this or listens to this episode, please help me understand what the fuck this whole plot point is. Like, why? So a T-1000 was sent back in 1973, killed her parents, but was going after her. And Pop showed up dressed as the Terminator from 1984, from the first Terminator. But he was sent there to protect her. And yeah, there you go.
If this was made 5 years later, it would have been okay because Marvel already did this shit.
So my thing is, I would have loved to see the T-1000 from 1973 because I feel like that was Robert Patrick. That was the Robert Patrick T-1000. That's why we got a different looking T-1000 in this one.
Yeah, it could have been.
But we'll never know.
I wonder if they modeled their T-1000s off of humans they captured and used for set up for elimination.
Probably, but we'll never know that either.
just a random thought.
Because to be honest, I really hope they never make another Terminator movie again.
They will, but
yeah, they will.
I mean, I know, but like, it's just gonna be like fucking Salvation. Schwarzenegger's not gonna be in it, and everybody's gonna piss and moan.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh wait, I skipped a little bit ahead. She tells him, so they get sent to the future, 2017, and Pops is gonna wait there, and I feel he just stood in that same spot for what's that 33 years? Did I do math right? 33 years. 1984 to 2017. So Kyle and Sarah arrive.
Oh, hold on.
What?
Let me talk about something important.
This is our non-sex sex scene.
Yeah, she was looking forward to this.
I didn't feel that way. I feel anyone who was in that situation would have reacted the same way. Like, you are in a fucking time machine that is literally surrounded with electricity and you're naked. Like, yeah, I get it. There was some moaning and shit, but I feel like it would have been anybody. It didn't feel this doesn't feel like Blade, okay? When she's like, and she's getting her blood sucked out. Like, relax, girl. Like, I understand she's sucking your blood, but This just didn't feel that way. It was just like a common reaction to getting fucking pretty much electrocuted.
Yeah, she got some electricity.
Oh,
so you need to speak your piece about this scene because I have something.
please, I want to hear more.
I just love it when they start, when the electricity starts and she goes, oh. I was like, what?
And see,
I was like, what kind of reaction?
So here's what happened. I'm going to give you more context to this scene. All right. So we're watching this scene and they're standing front to front, butt ass naked, right? You don't see nothing, obviously. It's just like up shots and then like shots of the legs, right? So you see them standing there and they're talking, and then like you get a shot of her, of them, and it's like their feet. And she's like kind of standing on her tippy toes. And I realized, like, dude, she's on Reese's log. She's like straddled and she's trying to keep her feet on the ground. Like he's like a pin hut between her legs. And when the lightning happens, he flinches. So she's like, oh. And that just adds some subtext to the thought you had. But no, seriously, why is she standing on her tippy toes? And honestly, why in that scene
was she standing on her tippy toes or was she starting to float?
No.
He was
flat-footed, and she's like up like this. Like, dude, she's on the branch, dude.
She did not have her heels on
platform.
I was like, it was just her.
Nobody was floating. The machine was not on yet.
This is why we're called Dissect That Film. We dissect the most fucking ridiculous scenes of movies, okay? Why was she on her tippy toes, ladies and gentlemen?
She was on Reese's machine. That's why. Dun 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 dun.
Holy shit.
But then
that's why there's no lamps in the future, because he just turns around.
When they get put wherever they're being put, I'm like, lady, are you having an orgasm or something? Like, geez.
Hey, it was a moment for her.
She was having a moment with herself.
I mean, listen, Jai Courtney, he's pretty good looking, you know? I don't know.
No, I
we disappointed him.
He did. He's just like, I'm over this shit. So fucking.
It's every Terminator episode. I'm just like, and I'm waiting for it.
We'll see about Dark Fate. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, there could be something in that one too.
I mean, I don't.
We've not watched it. So.
I don't remember Linda Hamilton getting naked in that one, and to be honest, I wouldn't want that.
No, but I'll find something to comment.
So yeah, so Kyle and Sarah arrive, and they, like, I wish there was a way you could choose where the fuck you arrive. Like, instead it's just like here's the middle of an interstate, and as they land and they like come out of their little orb, Kyle gets hit by a fucking car, and I'm like, and he just gets up, and she's just like she seems more in pain than him. She's like, I don't know if literally something did happen on their journey, and she was just like, just finish. I don't fucking know,
because she's going,
she's like panting.
Whoa.
I think the problem with the accuracy as far as like where the teleporter places them is because they built the fucking thing out of like Apple IIs and Honda parts. So like, this will work.
That's 1984. Like and they got a time machine.
There's like an Oregon Trail disc. They got to slide in, click down. Like, let's go. 5.5-inch floppies.
So
not talking about Kyle. It's like a 10-inch floppy.
So they get arrested because Pops was stuck in traffic. And he sees them get arrested.
Yeah, because he's got gray hair.
Yeah.
He's got all gray hair.
I think, that was his natural look, yeah.
I was reading, I don't know if that's true, but I was reading that as apparently his natural hair color.
I like the whole, the play on him being older. Like when he gets knocked down and he like, his knee locks and he has to like hit his knee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or when his fingers start
like locking up.
Yeah, doing their own little thing while they're putting the bullets in the
that's a little late. That was a little later, right? That was
but I like they do it a couple of times throughout, and I think it's really cool how they're playing on him aging.
Yeah, because I don't know what I mean, I know they can go longer than that based on Terminator 3 logic, but fuck that movie. But I don't know if the T-800 is supposed to be in operation that long.
I don't know. These movies don't make a lot of things clear.
He's still trying, though.
So this was when you get the explanation of Sarah's history with Pops and all that. Mm-hmm. O'Brien shows up, played by J.K. Simmons, and you find out that he was the cop that survived in the clothing store.
Yep, which is cool.
Which
Nice
I
touch.
don't think I even remember that from the first viewing of this movie. Because he's pretty much that like conspiracy theory guy who's like, I've seen them before. I saw those exact people. And the cops are just like, oh boy, here's crazy dude. Here's fucking Looney Tunes here. And he tries to convince them to let him talk to him, to Kyle and Sarah, and they're like, yeah, nah, not happening. We meet, what the hell's his name? It's not what's the Dyson son's name? Danny. We meet Danny Dyson. He is the son of Miles Dyson, who is the CEO of Cyberdyne. His son is the inventor of Genisys, which will be this huge computer operating system that is going to change the world in a bad way, but he doesn't know that. And they're in the hospital room. They're getting checked out and all that. And that's when O'Brien comes in. He talks about how, he knows them and he remembers them from 1984. And they kind of had that conversation. But they also, Kyle starts telling him everything. And Sarah's just like, shut the fuck up, idiot.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of going back and forth about stuff. Because Kyle's just being a little bitch about Pops. He's like,
yeah, he is.
He's eventually he's going to turn on you because he's programmed that way. And she's like, shut up.
Yeah.
You suck, Kyle.
Why would he have waited like 30, 40 years to
kill her?
Yeah, if he wasn't back in 74.
Yeah.
Well, that's what she says. If he was sent to kill me, he would have
already. Why would he?
Unless he was waiting for Kyle to be born and then kill Kyle. Like, I don't fucking know. Stupid.
Yeah, that's really dumb.
But guess who's there? Walks through the door and you're like, holy shit. But John Connor. Like, what? With his really bad scars on his face. They look terrible.
Yeah.
He comes in. He's just like, hey, you like my suit? It's like, not really. Kind of looks cheap. And he's like, yeah, we got to go. And they're all confused. And at first Sarah's like, I don't believe this is who this is. So, of course, he's got to prove it to her. And
that's something that only he would know.
Yep.
To him and her.
Pops comes into the hospital with a gigantic stuffed teddy bear. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. J.K. Simmons sees him. He's just like, huh. I feel like I recognize him. I'm just going to ignore that. And John's like, all right, we got to get you out of here. And they leave. And, everything's going down. And, no, this was after. So they go into a parking garage. And that's when John drops the ball to Kyle. That Kyle is his daddy. Papa.
Daddy?
It's like you didn't tell him. She's like.
Yeah, which before when I heard when her and Pops have the conversations like you need to tell him and she says I'm not ready yet. I was like, "Oh, what does she need to tell him?" And then I was like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty fucking obvious." I forgot that he doesn't know.
Yeah.
So Pops comes out of the elevator and fucking blasts John. And you're like, "Holy shit, what is happening?" Everybody's reacting, crazy, Sarah runs over to Pops to stop him and Kyle goes and tries to, make sure he's okay and all that. And it's like, oh, he's dead. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, getting super mad at Pops. And then, John's blood starts turning into fucking Etch-a-Sketch pieces and just suck back into his body. And then he like does this weird, like contortionist, oh, it feels great.
It's like, sorry, I fell on my keys.
Yeah.
Is that pain? Is that real?
So,
which I thought was kind of neat. He's like,
I don't get is why didn't his scars fix themselves before then?
I think he did that on purpose.
No, he did the scars to fool them to make it.
Yeah.
Because if he had showed up with no scars, that probably would have been like, what if that's the
really
T1000? What's that? What if that's a maybe another T1000 was around or something like that? Because who knows how many are there? I don't know. But I feel it was to kind of gain their trust. And then once it got to a situation, because they didn't want to go with John, like they wanted to, like the plan wasn't going according to what John wanted to do. And So he got attacked in the past, or technically in the future, by the this is where it gets fucking dumb. He gets attacked by technically it's a T-5000, which is the physical embodiment of Skynet. So this is literally Skynet as a person, but it's also an AI. I'm like, what the fuck? And John has been turned into a T-3000.
Yep.
Which
would have been really cool.
Yeah, these fucking Terminators, man.
I like when they introduce new models. I do, because to me, it's like a Monster of the Week thing. So I'm like, oh, what are they going to do this time? You know? And like, I like the concept of this, like the idea of this, but like, I wish the trailers would have just fucked us on this and never shown this.
The trailer
it ruined that.
Showed that John was bad, and you're like, well, that fucking ruined it for me.
Yeah, who edits the trailer? Like, show that John's the Terminator. Like, why? Like, that ruins. Like, that's the surprise of the movie.
Listen, I'm going to see Nope. Well, I mean, by the time you guys watch this, I've already seen it, and I probably might have a review on it. But there was a trailer for that movie before Thor that was 3 minutes long, and it shows so much of the movie, and I'm like, why do you do this? Like, what happened to this, like, 30 to 45 second teaser trailers that give you just, like, your basic information, and then you got to fucking go in and you're, like, generally surprised by things. When you see the trailer for this movie, and then you go to see the movie, and that same thing happens, you are just going, oh, I remember that from the trailer. That's your reaction, which sucks.
Yeah,
because this is a big twist. Dude. John is the bad guy in this movie.
Yep.
Holy shit. Like, that should have been a way bigger deal, but instead they fucked it up.
I'm trying to remember what I looked this up. He's machine phase machine phase matter or nano phase particles.
Yeah.
Which
magnets fuck with them.
Yeah. Essentially, well, I mean, I think it's just anything metal, but the fact that
it messes with the nano things. Like, like the other Terminators are like, they're magnetic. They'd be able to like fucking smash into anything that's magnetic, but this like fucks with the nano bites or whatever the fuck they're called.
Yeah, because what it does is when somebody gets infected with this by the T-5000, when somebody gets infected with this, it rewrites the coding of their body to make the tissue makes nano machines, and it replaces the whole human body with nano machines. So that's what it does. It literally overrode his entire body and made him in this weird man-machine hybrid, but not like literally a man-machine hybrid.
Here's
not like
my
a machine
question.
that looks like a man.
And I saw this as one of the comments. Somebody put a huge thread on our on the post.
Oh, sweet!
For comments.
Awesome.
I'll read the whole thing later. But one of the things was the fact of like, why didn't Skynet just do this to a bunch of humans, and they easily could have taken over, like wiped out the humans. Instead, they do like I understand you take out John Connor because he's the leader of the resistance, but like you easily could have just corrupted most of the people there. Instead, it kills all of them, and it's just John left, and you're like, what?
Well, they mentioned that
explain that he's different.
He's different because every test subject for that procedure, except for John, dies because they go insane. So that even for a machine, like it's no good for you if you can't control it. So
I don't know. I still didn't like this whole thing. I
probably could have been handled better.
I like how they were trying to go in a certain direction, and I would have been fine with John being the bad guy, but I don't know. It just the way it all goes about, and this is when the movie just starts going downhill for me after this big reveal, because now it's just like I feel like it's just a fight scene every 10 minutes between John and everybody from one location to the next until ultimately John's destroyed.
You can skip that far ahead in the script if you want.
So pretty much the whole thing is like Skynet changed John, corrupted him, and it helped Skynet survive because Skynet and that timeline was destroyed.
Yep.
So Skynet corrupts John and it keeps it going. They get into a big fight. John and Pops get into a fight. Sarah and Kyle turn on the MRI machine,
which is cool.
Yeah, I do like this scene. So
cool.
he gets his the scene where he's walking, he's trying to like walk towards Kyle, and he reaches down and just got the nano, like the little pieces
And,
of
like,
the
the
nano
waves.
that looked really cool.
Yeah, I like that.
So cool.
There's another shot with Nano Connor, John Nano, or whatever you want to call him later.
I like Nano Connor.
Nano Connor. Tiny Connor.
But it literally looks like Etch-a-Sketch material. It looks like Etch-a-Sketch material.
It does.
Kyle wants to save John, but it's too late. Like, he's trying to convince him, like, hey, no, we need to turn him back. And it's like, there is no turning him back. Like, he is already too far gone.
Yeah.
There's no use.
Yeah, that's why he has all of his memories, because it's his biological matter. It's just been converted into machine, so he has his memories.
Yeah. So you find out that John works at Cyberdyne, I guess, or he's like helps out Cyberdyne because he's there with Miles and the son, Danny. Yep, and that's his name, right, Danny?
Yeah, I'm picking at him.
Don't.
Because nothing.
No, we don't need to have a conversation on Screamer. I'll demand it to be cut. No jokes.
So yeah, so they talking about how Genisys is it's ready to go, and John's looking over, and they're actually making the time machine thing, and you see the liquid metal forming like humanoid things down in the pit there. And then they do a press conference outside, and they're like, yeah, this is the biggest launch ever. There's already 1 billion pre-orders. And I'm like, what? I don't think any fucking product in existence has ever had that many pre-orders for anything. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh, this is something else I can complain about, because all it is, for those of you that don't know, if you haven't seen it or hadn't figured it out at this point, I was talking about this. The whole Genisys thing is just a really shitty analogy for people using their phones too much.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all it is. It's just this app that'll connect everything, and then
because John mentions
destroy us as human beings.
Yeah, John mentions it in the hospital, because that's how John knew where they were. He's like, I saw somebody posted something on one of these things, like everybody's using it, and literally everyone in the fucking hospital is like on their fucking phone and shit. I'm like, listen, I understand people are on their phones a lot, but I've never been in a hospital and seen like all the nurses and doctors just like
even the guy that's doing the staples up.
I can't. This
up Sarah's back. He's like on his phone. He's like got an earbud in and he's talking. And one, he doesn't have gloves on, so it
would not happen.
That wouldn't happen. But then he like goes and turns his phone off. He's like, "I'll call you back," and he like hits his phone with his fingers. I'm like,
no, that shit wouldn't fly.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, so Genisys, Jesus Christ. Oh, and of course, you're doing this press conference where you're saying there's 1 billion pre-orders, and then there's got to be some creepy kid involved in the fucking AI. Oh, I'm so excited to meet everybody tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Thank you, Red. Thank you, Red Queen.
I was like, why? Like Resident Evil? Fuck me. I've already watched those 6 terrible movies. Jesus
back to haunt you.
Nice. So they go to a really well-stocked bunker that clearly isn't too far from civilians, by the way, when you see later when the shit explodes everywhere.
Pants.
Yeah, pants for Kyle Reese.
Yep. And Kyle realizes that Pops is slowing down, so they're having a competition to see who can load a magazine faster. And Pop's hands, Pops is going really fast, but then Pop's hand starts to like freeze up and shit, and he fucking smashes it on the table.
Short circuits.
And I like that that Kyle says to him, he's like, Pops looks at him and goes, old. And he's like, old but not obsolete. And then he's just like, no, not anymore. I'm fucking old.
Yeah. Yeah, and he also kind of covers for him, because Sarah comes up and is like, what's going on between you guys? And he just doesn't say nothing. He's not like, this machine is breaking. He just doesn't say anything.
Yeah, 'cause she turns her music on and is like dancing and doing her stuff.
Yep. So before all that, John goes to the basement and he I guess he puts himself into the computer system at Cyberdyne.
Yeah, he goes and
Incorporates
talks to
himself. Yeah.
Yeah,
And he's wearing a different outfit. So he was wearing a suit with a cheap tie. And then in this scene, he's wearing a sweater and some khakis. And then when he goes back to the bunker, when he immediately he's there, he's back in that suit again. I'm like, is this the generic look of John right now? Then I guess he can touch anything and steal the clothes just like the T-1000 can.
Mm-hmm.
So they blow up the bunker. And it's literally right outside. There are people right outside. They literally run into Pops. I'm like, Pops, we got to get out of here. So they steal a bus.
This is another shot I like, by the way. When the bunker's flames, and then Nano Connor walks out, and his skin just slowly builds back. He puts the fire out, and the skin slowly builds back up on him. I was like, "That's cool."
Did you like the endoskeleton of?
I do. I do. I actually like the.
I thought it looked cool.
I like it. I think it looks cool. Very cool.
The matte black and gray.
Yeah, it's cool. It's not just a skeletal structure. There's skeletal and then muscle structure to it.
Yeah.
Even though it's supposed to be just, I don't know, it just looks cool.
They got it to look as close to an actual skeleton as they possibly could, I think.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that he is still technically somewhat a human in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I like how you get a lot more shots of him as that form at the end of the movie. So.
Yeah. So he steals a bike and he ends up attacking the bus. I like that Pops. So while he was attacking Sarah and Kyle, Pops was creating a device, this thing he puts on his hand.
Magnet. It's like a magnet.
Yeah. And but before he can use it, fucking Kyle or John gets under the bus and fucking tears Pops through the floor. And I just love his look of just fuck. And just gets pulled out. He's just bum, bum, and then he fucking smashes into the car. And he's just looking at the cop, and the cop's like, "What the fuck?"
What's he say to the cop? Fuck. He says something.
I think he's like, "Hello, get out," or something like that.
No, he says, doesn't he say "nice to see you"?
Oh yeah. Nice to see you. Get out.
Yeah.
And that car can perfectly drive, even though this massively heavy man just crashed onto the hood of it.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
So yeah, so he so John flips the bus. He pulls, what the fuck does he pull that causes the bus to fucking flip like that?
It's the prop shaft. It's the drive shaft. What he does is he pulls the front of it, which this is something that allegedly happens or has been known to happen, is you're driving down the road because it's a rear drive vehicle.
Yeah.
Powers your rear pumpkin, your rear differential. You're driving, he brakes it at the front. It goes down, hooks the ground, flips the bus over. So it's like a pole vault almost, because it's that. I mean, that shaft's tied into your rear end. That's all your rear suspension. So it's either gonna rip that out or flip it up and over. It's only your two options. So
this is where you get a lot of very not so good looking visuals.
Yes,
very CG. Just it's a mess. The bus flips. It crashes into the barrier on the side of the bridge, and they're hanging off. And this scene is kind of dumb. And John gets in the bus. And it kind of reminds me of fucking The Lost World, where they're on the trailer there, and they're trying not to die. And of course, they're just was it Pops grabs them, and then they let go of the bus, and the bus goes down with John.
Yeah. But do you know why the Jurassic World scene's better, right? Other than it's just better. Because no one asked for 3 double cheeseburgers, no onions on mine, and an apple turnover. That's exactly why.
But yeah, you also get Kyle punching John with the magnetic device.
Yeah.
And it shows it takes longer for the nanobites to kind of form back on those spots.
Yeah. It's a more lasting damage.
Yeah. They all get arrested after. They're back at the police station. They're all getting questioned until John shows up. Because this is what I'm talking about. It's just John showing up right after something happens, and there's a fight, and then it's over, and then we move on to something else, and then John shows up again, and it happens again. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
there's
a lot
no substance to this. It's just like a fucking it's like a fucking fighting game. It's like you got the fight, and then there's a cutscene, and then there's another fucking fight, and it's like, where are we going with this? This is where the movie just starts going woo.
It was padded way too long. And it should have been a lot shorter. They could have cut several of these set pieces out.
So they bring in but in the earlier scene when they're in the hospital, they say, Kyle Reese is, he's a 12-year-old kid. How you can't you can't be him. But then it all comes back because they bring in the kid Kyle Reese to see the older Kyle Reese. And he's like, I've never seen this guy before in my life. And the parents never see him either. And that's when, so John disguises himself as that female cop, the one that we kind of saw a couple times. And he starts shooting everybody. And the Terminator, and Pops breaks out of his handcuffs. Another fucking fight.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Leading to the roof.
Yep, they get to the roof. They get to the helicopter. This I don't think could happen. I think they would have crashed. It's that thing where the helicopter falls off the side, it goes straight down, and right before it's about to hit the ground, woo! And I'm like, I don't think so. But I love you do get the thing though, where she's like, do you know how to fly helicopters? Like, yeah, John taught me.
Whoops.
Yep. But before that, Sarah leads the child Kyle out of harm's way, and she does the thing on his hand, like, oh, just follow the straight line. It's forgettable. We get the really just awkward helicopter chase, more just awful visuals. Sarah shoots John with the magnetic gun, and it just, I do like the visual of like the fact that he's like blown apart, and right before he's gonna crash, he like forms back just in time. But I feel like it just led to nothing.
Yeah,
it was like, oh wow, that was a cool shot.
It was just an FX showcase, dude.
Yeah. So Pops goes, well, it's my turn. So what does he do? He's going to shoot himself pretty much at John's helicopter. And what does he say?
I'll be home soon.
Damn it. You had one job.
I don't know. Damn it. I must have fallen asleep during that part. I don't remember. I'm just kidding.
I'll be back.
He'll be home.
And she's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, literally. And he literally like fucking skydives into John's helicopter. And it blows up.
The asphalt.
And yeah, and you get a really bad CG looking crash.
John in front of Cyberdyne.
Yeah. Oh, hey, this is where we were going. John attacks Sarah and Kyle in the lobby there. And then as everything's going on, they were talking to fucking Skynet. They were talking to Genisys, whatever the fuck this thing is.
Young Skynet.
Yeah, and he keeps getting older because they're like, no, shut the fuck up.
Like, hurry up, he's transforming into Matt Smith. Yeah. We gotta hurry.
And John shows up, and Pops is like, here, hold this spiky thing, and he just throws the spike through John's chest into there's like a screen. They go into like the server room, and they're setting up explosives to destroy everything. And John gets to Sarah, and pretty much like Pops has the detonator, but he can't do it because he can't harm Sarah Connor, which it would eventually kill her. And technically John can't kill her because then it would give Pops the initiative to kill him.
Then he could blow because then
he would be able to blow it. Right. Yeah. So if John shot Sarah, he would blow it. Holy fuck. Pops and John have another fucking fight. Oh my god. I'm glad this is the last one. And we meet Matt Smith, adult Skynet. And he says a lot of things I kind of just tuned out because it was
don't care about
stupid and it led to nothing.
Yep. I am forever. I am inevitable.
Yeah. So you get Yeah, it's an okay fight scene between John and Pops. You get the one where like he throws John face first into the railing, and then he like reverses himself, so he's facing
Yeah.
Pops. I thought that was a pretty cool shot. You get the of course, as Pops is fighting, his exoskeleton showing underneath, which is always a nice little touch. And Pop says, "Fuck this. I'm going to sacrifice myself because the only thing that's going to kill him is if he goes into this time machine, because it's going to ultimately destroy him because it won't be able to send him anywhere. It's just going to break him down."
Yeah, because they state that earlier in the movie that they're not anywhere. They're years away from finishing the time machine, but the magnetic drive system or whatever works on it, so it still makes a ridiculous magnetic field.
So it's going to destroy him. So he sacrifices himself. He throws him and John into it. John, unfortunately destroys Pops before he ultimately gets destroyed, but his head flies into the liquid metal. And John dies a really lame death, by the way, which ultimately destroys Cyberdyne, which then literally just blows everything up. All the buildings get destroyed.
Yeah, why did that blow up?
I don't fucking know.
Did
he have the detonator on him still? And like
I don't
when
know.
he gets destroyed, the detonator just automatically went off. Like, were they even out? Oh no, they went to the bunker. That's right. There was like a bunker they went into.
This feels very Phantom Menace-y. Like
this was just bad. This was it just, like I said, this movie like starts off really well, and then it just takes a dive bomb off the cliff with no parachute.
Yeah, like that when it lands in front of Cyberdyne.
He jumps in the helicopter.
So they're in a bunker. They're trying to get out of the bunker. They're like, well, at least it's over. And then Pops busts in. It's like, "Pops, you're back." And he's like, "Yeah. You see what I could do now? I'm a T-1000. Woo!"
Yeah, he's like what we call a T-900 because it's like an 800,000
yeah
hybrid. Because he does say earlier in the movie that the polymetal is harmless because while they can make a human shape, there's no CPU to drive it. Of course, then when his head falls in, that's the CPU.
So they
interesting concept.
Yeah, it was a nice little touch.
It's different.
They go to see young Kyle so that older Kyle can tell young Kyle that Genisys is Skynet, and you can kill Skynet before it's born. But I thought Genisys was destroyed. I don't fucking know, man. Like this, like I said, this ending is like, what happened here with this fucking script? And
bullshit.
And Doc Brown would be so upset about this because this is not how time. You're not supposed to talk to your younger self.
Nope.
That you will
watch Back to the Future.
No, nobody did.
Oh.
But Sarah finally gets to choose her words. She finally gets to choose the direction her life goes in, and she makes out with Kyle. And then Pops comes, he's like, "Now it's time to mate." And she's like, "What the fuck?" Well, actually, he kind of just stands there awkwardly and does this awkward smile. He's just like, "Really?"
It's so funny because his smile, his normal smile is not much better.
Yeah, it's not too far off though.
Yeah. And that's it. That is Terminator Genisys. We do get the awesome Terminator theme with the actual, like, not just the really epic piece, but the da-da-da, and I was like, I had to sit through at least that whole thing, and then once it stopped, I was like, oh. And then I found out there was a fucking mid-credit scene.
Is there?
Oh, well, we missed that.
I literally fast forwarded it, and I was like, wait, why is there still? Wait, there was something. So it's just showing Skynet's still alive. It literally shows the rubble of Cyberdyne. It goes through, and there's this just big giant red orb that's pulsating. I'm guessing that's Skynet or something because there's supposed to be sequels to this movie. And I was like, oh, well, that really didn't add to anything. But that's it. That's Terminator Genisys. Yep, it's back, baby. Like I said, this movie was, it started off strong and it ended on such a whimper. It wasn't even a whimper. It was literally a giant turd.
It kind of pooped itself out. I agree.
It really did.
Hemorrhoid.
So,
Mud butt.
we asked the community, we asked the people of Twitter to tell us their thoughts on Terminator Genisys. And we got some good ones here. We got a fucking thread, so strap in. Our first one is from Savako Road to Avatar, the Avatar podcast. A huge letdown that went into hoping to love. I think it had potential, but really did nothing with the concept. I'm guessing they're talking about Emilia Clarke. Does as good as she can with the material, but it really is a tough ask of her. I didn't even have to question that. It does say she and her. Yeah, I agree. It's such a roller coaster. Like, they just didn't know how to end this thing. It also doesn't help that there was supposed to be sequels, and I feel they were setting things up, and it just, now there's nothing, so it kind of just spoils everything. The next one is from Blaze and Blue Review. I said, I enjoyed it a lot. First part is a solid mashup of 1 and 2, which I agree. The second half was interesting for me as well. It's one of my favorites. Just wish that they hadn't spoiled the movie with that damn trailer.
That's exactly what I was talking about.
Very, very, very true. Next one's from Movies for Real at Movies for Real Pod. Simple. Fuck this movie. Our next one is from No Fate, a Terminator podcast. Well, thank you.
That's
for
dope.
Commenting. That is dope.
That's
I'm gonna
dope
have to. I gotta listen to this podcast. I love this franchise, by the way. Like, I've really enjoyed talking about this franchise, so I definitely want to listen to somebody else's views on this. They're at No Fate Pod on Twitter. We've had a lot of thoughts about this one, but ultimately we sum it down to this: the future war is the best part, which I do like that. The score is incredible. I do like the score of this movie because it feels like a Terminator score. The performances are lacking, especially Kyle. I agree. Kyle's probably the weakest performance, even though I don't think Jai Courtney was terrible. He didn't feel like Kyle Reese, like what I would imagine Kyle Reese to be. It feels like a Marvel movie, and to be honest, it kind of does. And Alan Taylor, his last movie before this was a Marvel movie with Thor: The Dark World, so you get that feeling there. And the final point was, it's an okay movie, but not a great Terminator movie. Or an okay movie. Is that did I say that? But not a great Terminator movie. All right. We got a long thread here from Michael Howe at mhow1980 on Twitter.
All right, let's hear it.
Here it is. Woo! There's some spoilers for Dark Fate.
Mike.
Yeah, don't read the end of it because there is a slight spoiler for Dark Fate, so don't read that. So it starts off with, this film is the closest we'll see to someone having their Terminator fan fiction made into a film. It really plays with someone cherry picking their favorite moments from the Cameron films, while also wish fulfilling their what if the T-800 and T2 was my dad fantasy. The human cast is also pretty much a waste. Emilia Clarke acts like a little girl cosplaying Sarah Connor, while Jai Courtney is way too fit to be in some dire future war. I agree. He is too ripped.
No offense, guys, but so is Bean in the first movie when he takes his shirt off.
He's not anywhere close to Jai Courtney.
He's not, but he would not have looked. He wouldn't be jacked like that either. Like even I'm just saying, he's not as much as Jai Courtney, but he still probably wouldn't be jacked like that because they would all be malnourished. I don't think. I'm just saying.
Does Skynet give the humans a 6-hour reprieve each day to work out?
Fuck yeah, they do.
Speaking of Skynet, their stupidity keeps getting more and more ridiculous. Like the last film, they seem to allow humans to have aerial craft, let alone their long con game to get John into the time machine chamber. Like they know everything that happens. And let's talk about the T-5000, Matt Smith, aka Skynet in physical form. This thing can wipe out a room of people, infect others with nanotech that it will either kill them or turn them into loyal drones, and Skynet does not realize this can win them the war. All Skynet needs to do is clone itself, take on different forms, infiltrate human-resistant bases, and then just infect, and spread across the resistance like a virus, wiping out the humans or assimilating them into their ranks. Don't even need to get Kyle Reese sent back.
He's got a point.
Yeah, no, I to be honest, I agree with most of the things that he states. Oh, yeah. And that flashback Kyle has, what kid is going to be excited to get a tablet that is counting down to a new operating system? How many kids are going to be excited to link their devices together? And then another podcast, Two Idiots and a Dog, commented on that. So that's actually the most believable part. Kids are very susceptible to it's the cool new thing. I need it marketing, especially when other kids are getting the cool new thing.
Yeah, even if it's something as simple as an app or linking your shit together, they will do.
Yeah.
That is true.
If it was something like a phone or a tablet, I could see, but the kid is excited over a freaking operating system. Plus, people are ordering the operating system, and the order is over 1 billion. Yes,
that's ridiculous.
And our final one is from Two Idiots and a Dog. They actually left a comment of their own. They didn't like it. Terminator Genisys is an abomination before man and God. The first act starts strong with some really cool ideas, but it quickly falls apart in the second and third acts. I get what they were trying to do with it, and it could have worked if it wasn't so poorly executed. And to be honest, I couldn't agree. I mean, I don't think it's an abomination. I didn't hate watching this movie. I hated watching the end of this movie, which I guess that's the whole point. Like, you want it to be good from beginning to end. But to be honest, I agree with most of your points, other than the fact I don't think it's an abomination. It's just not a very good movie.
Yeah.
And the comment from actually Michael Howe commented on his comment and said, I feel it's because much like The Force Awakens and Jurassic World, we're seeing things that are familiar. It's comfortable to the older audiences, but when the film tries to act smart regarding time travel and other ridiculous info. Whoo! Thank you to everybody who left your comments.
Thank you. Especially my man Mike, fucking above and beyond, dude. Yeah. We should just made a video about all this. He would have covered it for us. Fuck.
Keep them coming. So yeah, thank you to everybody who left a comment on the tweet there. We're going to be doing this every week for every movie that we review. So make sure if you have thoughts on the movies we're reviewing, leave a comment. You can either comment on the tweet that I will share on the Dissect That Film Twitter, or you can email at us at dissectthatfilm@gmail.com.
Yes.
Do we have any final thoughts on this movie before we go into our final rigmarole of the show?
I stand by that. I think this is a competent film that you could go in and watch despite its inconsistencies and repetitions with fights. I think there's stuff to be enjoyed from it. Popcorn movie. Say popcorn movie. This is still not the worst Terminator movie. No.
Oh no.
I still think 3 is worse by a pretty good chunk. But
yeah.
It's still, yeah. I'd watch it again. 3 I would never watch again.
Got any final thoughts, Angela?
Did you say how much the film made?
Yeah.
$440 million.
I missed that part. No, I'd watch it again. I enjoyed it.
Wasn't terrible. I don't know if I could watch this again based on how bad the ending of this movie was. Like, the ending was just really fucking bad. And that's the thing. It's like, it really starts off with a really cool concept, but once the whole twist happens that was blatantly spoiled terribly in the trailer, the movie just goes downhill, and it's not even drastically. It's like just complete free fall. And the visuals are just jarring in this movie. So everything during the day looked like shit, and everything at night was like, okay, this is I get it. Like, I don't know. I think that's when you have too many. Like, they had 6 studios working on the visual effects in this movie, and I can tell it's like you have too many people from different places trying to.
Yeah,
too many hands in the pot.
Yep,
Marvel knows all about that.
So we have one more week of the Terminator franchise. As next week we will be talking about the 6th installment, Terminator Dark Fate, which brings back the original Sarah Connor herself, Linda Hamilton, teaming back up with the Terminator himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is another Terminator movie that I've only seen once. I remember watching it. I think it was on like Amazon Prime. And I watched it, and I was like, you know what? It's not terrible. I like the design of the Terminator they have in that movie. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it's very paint by numbers. That's kind of mostly what I remember from it. Like, it's like, oh, this is something we've seen before. But I feel like that's just what Terminator is. They can't figure out a new concept. of where to go with this franchise. And to be honest, I kind of hope they really, if they're going to do more Terminator movies, they really need to just get away from the John Connor, Sarah Connor storyline and just create something fresh and new.
Yep,
I
I agree. It's like you said. I know it's like a shtick in the show, the movies, about how it's all like circular. That now it's all circular, but like they keep doing it with the movies, except for Terminator Salvation.
Yeah.
Well, kind of. But anyway.
So yeah, there it is. Terminator Dark Fate next week. The week after that, we're going to be doing a solo movie before we hop into our next franchise, which we don't even know yet. So, yippee. Let's see, what do we got coming up? I mean, at some point there, if it's not out yet, I'm going to be doing a dual review of The Black Phone and Nope. It's just going to be me. And at some point, me and Angela are going to be doing Stranger Things. At some point.
Yes.
I don't fucking know. Someday it's going to happen.
It's soon.
Yeah.
This year.
Yes. Yeah, 100% this year. And at some point, maybe I'll be doing a TV review with Dan, which would be it should be interesting.
I'm working on it. If I wasn't so fucking busy this week, I'd be watching more. Because I got to go to bed as soon as this gets over.
Listen, people, we would love to give you like dates on exactly when these things are going to happen. It's just not. The only thing I can tell you is when the podcast is going to be coming out, because it comes out every Friday at 9 a.m. So there you go.
Life.
Yeah, life gets in the way, and we gotta make do with what time we have. And all I can tell you is that you will get a podcast every week. Our normal podcast that will be out every week, no matter what. That is one show that we will make sure we get to you every week, so you guys have something. But the other extra stuff we do is kind of whenever we have time to do it. So we appreciate your patience, and hey, I just want to thank everybody for all the love you guys have been showing on the show. Like, our numbers on podcast services have just been insane. Every day I check it, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, we're getting more downloads in like 2 days on one episode than some episodes have in total. So like throughout like months and months of being out. So we appreciate all the new people coming in, downloading the show. We're getting a lot of love from all over the world. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We want to hear from you. Like, so we're getting to the end of a franchise, and we want to hear what franchise you would like to see us cover. So we're probably going to be doing a poll at probably soon, since we're going to be finishing up Terminator next week. So yeah, we're going to be starting a new franchise in a few weeks. So we need to figure out what that's going to be. It doesn't have to be one that has fucking 6-7 movies in it. It can be one that only has a couple. It doesn't matter. As long as it's a film franchise of some sort, let us know what you want us to talk about. But until then, I want to thank you very much. There's the link tree is going to be down in the description. Just click on that. It'll have all the links to everything where you can find Dissect That Film on all the podcast services, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, Facebook. It's there, but we don't do much on it. Dan and Angela's, all their links will be down in the description as well. My personal links will be down in the description, but I don't care about my links. I care about theirs, and I care about the shows. So make sure that's the most important. The other ones are, I don't care. Yeah, we're there's a lot of things that I have planned in my head. I know that I'm going on vacation in less than a month, so I'm going to be a little bit busy trying to make sure that we still have shows coming out when I'm not around. So everything is going to be okay.
Yes, it is. We'll make it happen.
But I got a lot of things, ideas that I'm going to be throwing out there to Dan and Angela about future shows and all that stuff. So a lot of things in the pipeline. I'm very excited. Thank you very much. Before I get too far into this, I am Brett Parker. That is Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming. We are Dissect That Film, and this has been the Dissect That Film podcast number 65. We'll see you all next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.